Let's talk some toys in here.
Hey, what's up everyone? Today it's the Man-Child. Okay, so today for review, we're going to take a look at the new Masters of the Universe times Transformers. So yeah, they did it once again. They mixed Motu Origins with the Transformers. I didn't see this coming, but to be honest, I didn't see the Turtles coming either. Of all crossovers or collaborations I wanted to see with Motu when the Origins line come around was Thundercats. I never thought they did it. And of course, we have the Thundercats, running as well, which has been pretty cool so far. So I'm glad to see that. I always thought the Thundercats would mix well with the Origins because kind of did with the Motu Classics, being that they were the same aesthetics and whatnot. But yeah, this really threw me off. I guess why not, right? Transformers was really big in the 80s with Master Universe. I did watch that cartoon. It's really impressive. Still holds up. But yeah, again, I didn't see it crossing over with the Origins. Pretty bizarre, but yet interesting. So here we go. We have Megatron Armor Skeletor. I don't know how big I'm going to get into this line, and I don't even know how far I'm going to go with this line. I'm a sucker for variants for Skeletor, He-Man, the core characters, and of course that's what they always go for with these newer lines first. But look at this. So yeah, he's all armed up like Megatron. Looks like he has some newer armor. Yeah, it's a whole new buck, really. Head with a helmet. I want to say the arms and legs or the upper parts are regular Origins parts and hands, but yet they have different mechanical pieces on it. I don't think he transforms. That would have been cool. I don't think that's what they were going for. It's just the idea of the armor pieces on our favorite Motu Origins or core characters like Skeletor in this case. So again, pretty interesting. Here's a look at the newer box, obviously. I love the newer logos that come with the newer style collaborations or crossovers. In this case, we got the big Master Universe logo with the Transformers logo sticking out. That's pretty cool. And again, I like that with the Thundercats and what they did with the Turtles. You can see some cybernetic or some type of enhanced digital vision looking through, scanning everything. See Snake Mountain up in the left-hand corner. And then if you move up to the very top, you can see Megatron Armor Skeletor with, looks like a newer blaster cannon, a mechanical havoc staff, and yeah, it comes with some neat accessories. The other thing, though, I noticed that they show on the side of the box, what to show is it's another alternative head, and I don't see that in the box. But once we get him out, we'll check it out. And then here's a quick look at the art on the back of the box, so we can see Cybertron Armor Skeletor standing up on a cliff edge, holding that mechanical havoc staff with the blaster connected to it. Some planets going on, volcanoes. I'm guessing are on Cybertron or Cybertron mixed with Eternia. Doesn't really say in the bio, but yeah, it is a really cool piece of art for what they're doing with the Skeletor. And then here's a little closer look at the bio up at the right-hand side. Okay, dropping down to the very bottom, here's some picture illustrations of the weapon setup as far as the Havoc staff goes. So you can see it says replace cannon barrel to change into Havoc staff, so it shows an illustration how you do that. And then it says swap Energon mace onto wrist. So you do have that, that's what that is. It's an energy effect with the Havoc staff as well that can connect into the main gauntlet on the wrist. And then here's a quick look at the art on the right-hand side of the box of Skeletor. So there's that head, but the more I look at it, it's just showing an image of Skeletor, I guess, before he kind of merged to Megatron. So I thought you would get this Skeletor head in the box because you can see the cross arm and whatnot, but I don't think you do the more I look at it. However, I do have the Masterverse Skeletor head, come one of the Masterverse figures. Looks just like that, so I will try it on this figure later. And of course, they have Megatron as part of the art on the left-hand side of the box. Here's a quick look around at a new Megatron Armor Skeletor at a package, as well as accessories. So, before we take a look at Megatron Armor Skeletor and all his accessories, he comes with a new comic, thank God, because I didn't see one in the package originally, and a lot of the box figures, when you go back to the Turtles and whatnot, never came with a comic, they would come with a card. So, yep, cool, we get a comic, it's called By the Energon of Grayskull, that's pretty cool, I like it, right, Energon's the Transformers' primary fuel. And we can see, Megatron Skeletor there fighting a new Bumblebee Man-at-Arms. Look how big Skeletor looks in this, but the figure didn't come out that way. Anyway, I'm going to open this up. I'll bring it up close. You want to pause and read it. Again, it's the first time I'm looking at it myself. All right, here we go. We got Cybertron, Optimus Prime. Cool. Starting right out. Cybertron. Let's read it and see what's going on here. Sorceress. All right, Man-at-Arms. Next page. There we we go. Skeletor now, transformed. Okay, there's He-Man coming into the picture. Oh, there's the new Optimus He-Man, I think he's called. He's also for pre-order right now, Mattel Creations. I don't think he comes out till next year. You would think He-Man will come out with Skeletor. I hate when they do that. You know, you think the two would come out together. We got Skeletor first without the He-Man. Oh, look at that, Scareglow. What is that? Is that Skeletor? Is that... Oh, that'd be cool to see Scareglow as part of this collaboration. That's pretty much it as far as the comic. So, taking a closer look at this new Megatron Armor Skeletor as far as the head sculpt helmet. Yeah, pretty neat thing for what they did for this Megatron Skeletor. So we have a whole cybernetic helmet now, you know, but the face part is open. There's no shield. Would have been cool if he had some kind of shield, but there's no shield. Little visor piece up over top of the eyes. So see what I mean? It would have been neat if that could come down. I don't think it does. No, it doesn't. He has recessed eye sockets, and even the eyes now are glowing. They almost look like they're some, I guess, cybernetic as well, like some type of cybernetic infusion of eyes into the skull. He has this little chin piece, and it's obviously a whole new head sculpt and skull. So check this out. The mouth does open, somewhat articulate. You can move it all the way like down like that, or push it all the way forward, but it's kind of pre-sculpted in like a mid-position to where, you know, you can see the teeth and somewhat of the mouth open. I don't think it's on a hinge joint from what I can see. It's just soft. But it is neat. I do like the color of the skull now. I don't think this comes out of the helmet, or the helmet comes off the head. Let's just remove it. So there's a look at the ball peg and the inside. So it's like, it is a separate piece, but it's like glued and pegged in. Doesn't look like it's just something you're going to pop out. Would have been cool for customs. I don't know what it looked like to cut it out of there, what's underneath, but not meant to come off for the most part from what I can see. Put the head back on. So as far as articulation with this helmeted head on this newer cybernetic body, you can look all the way to the left, to the right, look all the way down and up. Right, and here's a look at the helmet from the side and the back, and the top is just flat. All right, so neat design for a Skeletor head, you know, for this series. But again, I wish you could have removed that head from the helmet. But anyway, moving down. So, yeah, we have a whole new cybernetic buck. You know, something reminiscent between Skeletor's crossbow and armor and Megatron's body, or one of the Transformers' main cybernetic bodies. Yeah, nothing transforms. It is a whole new buck piece, obviously, but nothing moves. And the only separate piece I can see on this is this purplish cross armor thing. It is soft. It's kind of like pegged and glued over the main body. So yeah, we have the Decepticon logo. Pretty cool in the Skeletor crossbones. It's a neat addition to this. Everything's cast in like you had a flat silverish tone. You have some cybernetic little light kind of indicators going on the lower part of the buck. As far as articulation, you can spin at the waist, come apart at the waist. That's about it. It doesn't move. No ab crunch of any kind. And yeah, it does not transform. And if you spin them around, here's a look at the back. So you have like a backpack with little plugs in it. I think that's for a couple little weapons you can store in the back. We'll get into that in a little while. And then you can see the purple cross strap coming over the shoulders to the back, and it pegs into here. So this piece, again, is pegged and glued, but it could come off if you wanted to. But you can just see everything, some vents in here, and yeah, just how it's all put together. Nothing else moves. So again, that's pretty much it on the new buck and head. Moving over to the arms. So you have like this transforming or articulated shoulder protector or flap, right? Like, again, like part of Skeletor's armor. So this does go all the way up to the head, like so, and down. So it's like on a hinge, you can see, protecting the arms. They're equal on both sides, are identical. I mean, I guess you could put them up like that. And expose more of the arm. So the arms look like typical Origins regular Skeletor He-Man style arms, what I can see. There's a little scratch in there. As far as the articulation, when you move this piece up, so you can still go all the way out, And then you put this down, it doesn't affect it because it will move up with the hinge joint. Go all the way down to the body. You can spin this whole piece forward, go back. You can bend at the elbow, straighten it out, spin, all that good stuff. And now the thing with these flapper pieces is they do pop right off. See that? But then you have two holes in the arms. And these come out of the body. All right, so they're just typical Skeletor style arms. So if you had another, if you didn't like these and you had another Skeletor with a similar color, right? Like this Skeletor is kind of close, a little off, but I just want to show you they are typical. I just want to make sure. Yeah, the regular Skeletor arms. You can take this arm out. Just gonna do it real quick. Like this is the Screech 2-pack Skeletor. Again, the color's a little off, but then if you want to use regular arms still, you can do that. I just want to show that. Right? So it still works if you didn't want to use that arm. All right, so let's put this arm back in so we're familiar with the holes. It's a better look at it right in the inside. And that's pretty much how these come off. You didn't want to use them, but again, then you have holes in the arms. So I'm going to put that back like this on camera, show you how they pop in and off very easy, like so. And all right, where we at here? So moving down to the forearm, now he has a newer style gauntlet that's all part of the forearm. It's a whole new sculpt, or this whole forearm pieces rather. So this can't spin or come off. You can spin the arm, but you have these blades, and that's for the Havoc staff weapon. We'll get into that soon. And they're identical on both the left and right side. And then as far as the hand, he just has a regular Skeletor style hand that could spin, and the hinge joint go in and out or up and down depending on what position you have it in. But it's really limited because of this gauntlet. See that? You can't really go in much with it. And the hand, of course, the hand can come out, which we'll do soon. All right, moving back to the left side. As I already mentioned, all the same type of flap. We know how this comes off. The arm articulation up, down. All right, spin forward, back. Same thing, bend at the elbow. But even that, so bending at the elbow, I should mention that. This blade does hit the bicep, so you're very limited unless maybe you spin the arm. Even that, you can't really do much with it. I mean, I guess it does what it has to do. And let's see. So you can still bend the arm up to the face. That's as far as you're going to the center of the chest and the body. It is really limited, not only for the typical articulation in the elbow, but yeah, this piece really throws things off. It wouldn't have been neat if this could spin. If it was a separate like gauntlet. It's not. And then, of course, he also comes with a weapon gripping hand on his side that can spin. And the hinge joint, excuse me, go in and out. Would have been cool, too, that if they would have gave him newer hands with the longer nails like they have in a comic. Look at the size of them hands with the nails sticking out. You just get the regular Skeletor hands. Once again, moving back onto the waist. So we know he comes apart at the waist, right? Spins at the waist. Here's a closer look at that. So now you have a mechanical style protective belt in place of the regular one Skeletor would get. So look at that. And you can remove it off the waist like that. If you want to put them together and not use it. Kind of looks weird because you have a gap going around there. And I guess, again, if you want to use a regular Skeletor style belt, again, I'm just going to use the one off the Screech 2-pack. Colors aside, the little shading there. You could put it on the body. It would look like that. Okay. And let's get that off. So I'm just going to put this back on because I think it looks better with it. But before I do that, I'll bring it for a close-up look. All right, pretty much what it looks like off the body. Has these little pieces here. I don't think they do anything. Pretty soft. And you can see it's square to fit this little space. So let's put that back on. So as far as the legs, they are, yeah, a regular origin style legs, at least the upper thighs. As far as the articulation, go all the way out with a split. Now, I don't know, does these legs come off? I think they do. You got it. Oh, man, you got to look at that peg. That's almost ready to break. All right, I'm not messing with that side. How about that one? They look like they do, but I'm not going to mess with it because them pegs look really brittle in there. But they look like they can pop out, but my figure's having trouble. Actually, wait a minute. This figure's drop joints. Look at that. So I guess they could come off, but I just noticed that it's slotted, and the legs go up and down with a set of drop joints like Masterverse have. I believe that's what they are. Yeah, wow, I've never seen that before in Origins or noticed it. Huh. Okay, Thundercats might have that. I know the Thundercats' legs come off. I never tried to rock them, but yeah, this figure has drop joints. Interesting. Okay. So you have those now. You can go out with a split. Right. Take a better look at the bottom. And then with the joint dropped all the way down, you can kick. Yeah, look at that. Kick forward, go back, bend at the knee, spin at the knee. Okay, interesting. Your legs all the same. pull it down, go forward, go back, bend at the knee, spin at the knee. And I'm just going to push them up like that. And then as far as the boots, you have a whole new cybernetic boot that's, just designed particularly for the Skeletor. And it's all part of the lower ankle. So this does, it does spin here. I'm sorry. But this upper piece is attached to the knee. So it's like a whole new leg piece. So you can spin at this boot and take it off. If you want to put regular Skeletor feet on this figure, you could. Yeah, pretty interesting design, right? Here's a look at the front and the back, or all the way around. And then he has this big steel silver foot. It's part of the boot. And as far as articulation, you go up, up and down and rock side to side. And the other boot is all the same, right? So you can spin at the knee like this, spin the boot, and the foot can go up and down and rock side to side. Moving forward, taking a look at Megatron Skeletor's weapons and accessories. So here's a look at that Energon mace. It's pretty flexible. Again, you can move this. And I don't know if this articulates. Looks like it, maybe a little. Yeah, I think it actually does. But I don't know, mine's staying in a stuck position. Almost looks like it's like snapped in there. Got the ram horns up top, right? The laser energy whip part, some blasting effects coming out this mace end. And even on the very end, you also have another energy effect. Now, I don't know if this is glued on, and this piece does come off. Like so. So he has the little Origins peg that can snap in the hand. So we'll get into that. And you got to be careful with these too. They're like soft. I feel like they want to snap, popping them out. There's that accessory. Then for the next weapon accessory, you get another mini dagger kind of Havoc staff. So again, here's a look at the little ram horn up top, right? And the knife end. And then this peg piece, I think, is going to snap into the back of the backpack. I'm going to hold it like so. And then here's a look at his primary weapon. Look at that. So that's that giant cannon barrel Havoc staff. So here's your laser end that can pop out like this in the mouth. But when it's in place, this snaps onto one of the gauntlets. We'll get into that soon. That's how. So you can use it as a blaster this way, or you can pop it out, and on the very back, you can snap together like so. And there's the inside of the handle where you would hold it as his main Havoc staff. See that? And then you can turn the head like so. And pretty much it. That's a pretty cool idea for Havoc staff for this Skeletor. And it can articulate. Again, you can hold it this way as well, I guess, if you wanted to face it forward. And I don't think, let me see. All right, so the mouth doesn't articulate, but the head does as far as a staff piece. Once again, taking a look at Skeletor, let's set him up with his weapons and accessories. So, of course, let's put the Havoc staff in hand. So we have the ram head in the up position. Right, we know we have this cannon piece snapped into the bottom, comes out like so, as I already showed earlier. And pretty much you're just going to snap the fingers inside this little handle. Then there's a quick look at that setup. So, yeah, obviously we have the Havoc staff in hand. He's holding it. It's very heavy, by the way. And what's cool is, so you can have the hand in his backside, the guard that protects the hands facing forward. And the ram, the mouth itself can articulate, spin all around to whatever position you want. I mean, it should face forward, go up if you wanted to. Now, before I turn this into the cannon blaster that's going to mount onto this gauntlet, I want to point something out. I just noticed the handle inside here, it's not solid. It doesn't go all the way from the top to the bottom. It just floats there. You got to be very careful of that, because I can see that snapping. I had a hard time getting hand in there. And that little thing, like if you can see that, see there's a space in there. This is not a solid piece. I don't know why they would make it like that, because it's already rocking. That's something that will break. Use a lot of caution to that. I'm going to point that out. Now, going back to this Havoc staff blaster cannon arm. So now the next thing is, now you could turn this backwards, I guess, if you wanted to, and just make it like this long blaster. And this little groove in here, you would attach it to one of these blades going back to this gauntlet. Right? So it would look something like, this isn't the right way to do it, by the way. I just want to see if this will work. Yeah, see it's falling off. So that would push on like so. I don't know if it's going to work. All right, so it would lock onto the outer one. Now you have 4 of these, but yeah, they're kind of awkward. And then you can put the blaster back on. If you wanted to make an extra long gauntlet with the ram head backwards, you can hold it like that. Or put it on like that. And let me see, is it going to balance? Yeah, okay, so it balances. Pretty cool. But that's not really the right way to do it. You want to remove this once again and plug this piece inside the mouth, like shorten it up, and now you can put it back onto one of these gauntlets like that, or the top piece, and it will work a lot better, so it's not hitting shoulders. All right, and there we go. There's a look at that setup. Blaster, that's pretty cool. It's a good idea with the gauntlet. Let me balance Skeletor and see how he stands with it, because the legs are becoming a little loose, or at least this one is on mine. And there you go. There's that Megatron Skeletor with the blaster weapon. Then jumping ahead with the next setup, so I just put the energy ram mace weapon in the right hand, and that ram staff also weapon dagger in the left. There's a quick look at that setup. Pretty cool with those two accessories. We know this is like, yeah, big laser energy whip. With the ram piece, it flexes, moves all around. You can spin this. I guess you could turn it upside down too if you want to, and use this spiked mace end. Something like that. And yeah, it keeps falling out of his hand. His hand's getting real loose. And then here's a look at that dagger. On the other hand, you can also turn it around. It's like, this could be like a hammer in the back with the little ram horns if you wanted it to, I guess. And going back to the backpack, see there's two holes in each side. This is the only weapon with this peg that I can see where you can push this in and store it. I thought maybe somehow the main ram piece would have a way to hook on if you wanted to. I don't see anything unless I'm missing something. You can make something. And yeah, this mace as well. I thought maybe once you pull this piece off, you can store this, but I don't see nothing like that. And then of course, going back to this energy mace, you can pop this out as I showed earlier. Right, the little piece. So yeah, and with that by itself, now we can use that as a weapon, I guess. And we can remove one of the hands out of these gauntlets, just standard origin style pegs. And then we know this is the origin style peg. And that will push in like so, sort of. You got to be careful with these, really soft. And there's Skeletor with that accessory inside that gauntlet. It's pretty cool. Whip it all around. Yeah, two of these, you can put one in each hand. We can always remove this and put the Havoc staff. Keep that on the back and the other one. Try in this hand this time. Like that. Turn this around. And there's Skeletor set up with the Havoc staff. Right? A little weapon. Just articulate this. Spin it round and round. Move the arm. Yeah, it's a pretty cool setup for this Skeletor. Okay, and the last thing I want to do for fun as far as part swapping, which you really can't think of too much with the Skeletor side. We could change out some regular arms, you know, the lower legs and stuff like that, is the head swaps. Let's, all right, put this weapon in hand for now, something different. And I'm just going to remove the cybernetic head. And the first thing is I'll just try this Screech 2-pack head. Because of the colors, this is the only hood that has a, well, I have a few different Skeletor heads, but colors matches somewhat, and they have this like weird wash on it. But let's throw this on real quick. With somewhat of regular Skeletor head, because this one does articulate too. The jaw. And there's a quick look at that. There's a cybernetic, or, you know, could just be a mechanical type. Or yeah, cybernetic Skeletor with the regular head. All right, quick look at that. As far as articulation, left, right, down and up. And then for the next setup, I just put one of the original Skeletor heads that came out at the beginning of the origin line with the open mouth, right? That is a cool looking head, but he had a different color hood, very bluish purple, where it doesn't match anything. I mean, you can mix it up with colors, but if you like that head with the hood on this mechanical body, it's what it looked like for fun. That one has an open mouth, articulation, left, right, and go down all the way up. And for the next setup, there's a quick look at that Masterverse alternative Skeletor head that I threw in his body. It looks very similar to that art on the side of the box that was mentioned earlier. That's a cool looking head with the hood. Right, came with one of the new Eternia Skeletor. Fits well, but again, very, you know, as far as the hood, it's very dark colors. But yeah, I can mix something between the light purples and the blacks in between. As far as articulation with that head, look, go to the left, the right, go down and up. Then here's a quick look at the first Revelation Skeletor head on this body, which that looks pretty cool. It's creepy with the type of skull, and the colors of the hood match the main armor pretty close. As far as articulation, left, right, it's really tight, this head. You go all the way down and back. Okay, and then the last thing I did with this figure is put the head back on, the original cybernetic body. I put the Screech 2-back Skeletor arms, so the regular Skeletor arms on this body, because the blues do match somewhat the blues on this body. And I put the lower legs on from that Skeletor with the boots and the little protector there. So if you want to mix and match them up and just use this in the head, or you could put another head on as we already had, right? You could do that. And we got the Havoc staff in hand so we can hold it. We're not using the gauntlets to make it a cannon, but if you wanted to, we could just put these back in, as already showed. and I put this in the other hand. Or you can mix things up. You could just leave one arm, let's just say the right arm, and I can get it out, like this, and we could just put one of these arms in, right, or the other side. Let's put this one on. And then we have one regular arm with the cybernetic arm with this piece. And we can get the hand out of there, set this back up. See how easy that falls out. Lock this in the back position, and then going back to this again, you could just clamp this on for the cannon piece. That's all you really use these for. I guess they could be a weapon too, like a blade, gauntlet with blades. Alright, so that about does it. That's my review on the new Masters of the Universe times Transformers Megatron Armor Skeletor. You know, I think for Skeletor being crossed into this line, it's a fun design with the armor, you know, the Havoc cannon, the weapons, the new head with the helmet. Pretty cool. But, you know, just he feels small compared to like a size comparison against the Skeletor. Here's a better look at that. I probably should have did that during the review. You know, when you go back to that comic, he just seemed like an overly large figure. And I don't really have any figures that's going to match these parts to make him a larger Skeletor, like the Thundercats Gelra. But yeah, then you can't change the boots, and I figure the waist is too wide. It's just totally different. I kind of feel like, yeah, maybe the buck should have been different or something, a little larger. I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing that transforms aside the little shoulder pieces, and I guess technically the Havoc staff with the blaster. I didn't expect that with this line, because that'd really, you know, be a lot of tooling and make the figures very mechanical. I think that would have been a little better, but yeah, they weren't going for that. It would have been neat maybe, or maybe just if the armor could come off somehow and transform little pieces or make something out of it. I don't know. You know, it is a cool head sculpt. As already mentioned, I wish the helmet can come off, so once again, we could use this head for a custom, like if it was some type of skull. Alright, the Havoc staff is pretty neat, and the other things, yeah, you gotta watch it handle inside there. That will snap the more I look at that, because it's just floating there. I don't like that design. It should have just been a solid piece to go all the way through, especially if you're going to use it a lot, popping in and out of the hands. What else? Yeah, it would have been neat if these were separate pieces. I mean, the boots are, but these are all part of the leg, so, you know, you can't really do much as far as customs. I mean, aside, yeah, you can change the legs off, out, like with another Skeletor figure, the arms, like I showed. You can do a few other custom ideas. I didn't get too crazy in this video with it, to show some basic stuff. And then, yeah, this little piece on the back's neat. You can hold this. They should have made it on with the mace as well, so you can hold another weapon or something adapted to this, you know, ram staff that I can hook on the back. I don't see anything like that. And that's pretty much it for our first official Transformer Skeletor, you know, in the line. And there's the Bumblebee Man-at-Arms out, which I do have. I'll review him in another time. So, well, it is a fun figure aside the things I pointed out, you know, if you like Transformers. And I am looking forward to He-Man and what else they can do with this line. It's not at the top of my list. I'd say as far as collaborations right now, it's definitely Thundercats. And even that one, they put the first 3 figures out, which is cool. And Series 2 is going to be Panther. And then another Lino and I believe Panthro and Variant. I don't like, that doesn't make sense. There's so much you can do with that. So I'm a little weary of that line. But anyway, here's our first look at the Transformers meet Motu. And yeah, it's pretty cool for what you see, at least for Skeletor. So as always, I appreciate everybody watching. Until next time, take care.